I honestly can't tell you whether I like this light or I hate this light. I'm very undecided at the moment. In this video, we're talking about the new Orphek OR3 REEF Day. And that is the new range of LED bars from Orphek, and this particular one is REEF Day, so it's REEF Daylight Spectrum. There is another one which is the REEF Blue Plus, which I also own and have already done a video on. Now, like I just said, I'm very undecided about this light. I can't work out whether it's good. I mean, it has had previously, not this particular model, but all of the ones before it, very, very good reviews, very, very well received by the market. But looking at this one, compared to how my other lights look, I'm really unsure whether I like it. There are many good points about this light, but there's some really blindingly obviously bad ones, and I'm going to go through all of this in this video. So to start with the good, basically this new version of the LED REEF bar has better LEDs. They're 5-watt LEDs that come from their Atlantic fixture, which are well renowned for being excellent reef lights, excellent full spectrum reef lights. You can grow pretty much anything under, so it's the same as them. The wattage of the LEDs in this unit has been reduced so that the LED bar lasts longer. Less power will be meaning less wear on the LEDs. So that means that the LEDs will be outputting their full spectrum at full power for a lot longer. Also, the LEDs on this unit have a really nice covering. It looks really, really fancy, really luxury. I think the overall aesthetic of this light bar is excellent. Massive heat sink, which is basically the entire case, made from lovely brushed aluminium. So the Orphek OR3 REEF Day comes in, I believe, 4 sizes, but possibly 3. I'm unsure because there is a 5-foot floating around somewhere, but I can't find it for sale anywhere. So the ones that you'll find on the market easily are the 2-foot, the 3-foot and the 4-foot. And all of these different variations have different patterns of the LEDs on there. They're not all identical. I bought this LED bar to complement my existing Orphek OR3 REEF Plus. It's got all the complete blue spectrum in it for growing corals. I stuck the blue one onto my 5-foot macro tank to complement my existing freshwater planted spectrum LED light by Interpet. Now together they look really nice. The Interpet light gives you a nice daylight colour, and the blue obviously gives you a deep blue colour, and that makes my corals fluoresce. The OR3 REEF Plus LED light has done a really, really good job on this tank. So I thought to myself, perhaps then the REEF Day one would be a bit bluer than my Interpet one, but actually, as well as that, complement the REEF Blue. So I went out and I ordered myself an OR3 REEF Day to see how it would look. And I'm not really happy with it, to be honest. It's one of these things, because I don't have many corals, I'm not doing a reef tank per se, so I'm not really into this full deep blue look of an aquarium, and that's what these lights give you. Of course, one of them is just a blue light, and we're not looking at that light so much, we're looking at the REEF Day one. But in my eyes, a REEF Day light should be slightly whiter. I've had REEF Day lights from companies such as Tropical Marine Centre, TMC. They used to do, or still do, REEF Day lights, and they were a lot whiter. They had a couple of blue LEDs, but actually the rest of them were white LEDs, and they had that whiter spectrum to it. I feel like this particular REEF Day light is too blue, and even having 2 of them, I don't think it would be that white. And the biggest problem with it for me is actually the lensing on the LEDs themselves. You can see quite clearly that the light doesn't really blend together that well. And this is my major issue with this particular light, is the fact that the LED dispersion is really strange. This is the 4-foot version, so the other ones aren't exactly the same. But on the 4-foot, you can see that on each end, you've got a white, orange and a white. And it's the same on that end, a white, orange and a white. And you get this weird spotlighting effect at the ends, where it's super white. And then in the middle, you've got a couple of whites, and then it's all blues. And you get this really uneven effect of white, blue, you know, and so on. And it just doesn't, to me, look very pleasing to the eye. So this is the REEF Day on the 5-foot macroalgae tank. This tank's 2 foot deep, and the light is suspended about a half a foot above the top of the tank. And you can still see that there's a barring effect from the LEDs. So as I've said, they're distributed oddly amongst the bar. So at the ends we've got the white ones and the orange ones, and you can quite clearly see, even 2 foot down, they are still like a spotlight on either end of the tank. You can see that the ends of this tank are a lot lighter than the centre. And in the centre it has these blue and white bars. You can see it better nearer the top of the tank. You see that blue and white barring? Well, that's actually appearing on the bottom of the tank as well. So it's just a very unhomogenized light. I would have hoped that it would actually just have the LEDs spread equally along the bar, and then you wouldn't have so much of this barring and spotlighting effect. All the rest of the lights that I own and have used in the past for marine and freshwater, other than the really cheap ones, they've all blended together really well. You don't get so much of this lensing effect. I just question why this is on a light that's actually reasonably expensive. So this light is 180 odd pounds to 200 pounds, depending on where you buy it from, and it shouldn't be like this for that price. Another thing this light doesn't have is any kind of timers or Bluetooth or Wi-Fi apps or anything like that. So it's literally plug and play. You can put an analog or digital timer on the plug socket, and that's what I have done. But other than that, there isn't any other kind of functionality to it, which is a real shame. You can't even dim it or, you know, get that morning dimming effect. It's just as it is. So let's have a little bit of a comparison to a light that I know is good and I actually really like. Lots of people like it across the world, and that is the Fluval C Reef 3.0 Bluetooth version. This is a light that's been out for a good amount of time now. It's not a new light. It's a couple of years old, and it's well regarded as a sort of good intermediate to beginners reef light, and it falls in a very similar price bracket to the Reef Day. I think you can pick them up at around £200, and the OR3 Reef Day is around £200, so I'm going to lump them together. Now, the Bluetooth one I bought specifically for the size of this tank, so it doesn't light up the end, but we'll still see a good comparison on the different colours and the different blending of light, and you can let me know what you prefer. So this is the Orphek OR3. You can see the blending that I'm telling you about, or lack of blending, and you can also see, if I move it about, the lensing on it, how sharp it is, because just moving it 45 degrees, you can see the front and the back of the tank stop being illuminated by it. Now, of course, if you raise it up, it's quite heavy actually. Wow. If you raise it up, the blending is slightly better. So this is designed to be raised, obviously. And this is the Fluval light turned on. You can see that there's a lot more in terms of white light going on. This is it on full power, so every one of its spectrum is at full whack. The white and the blue is up at full whack. And this is kind of what I was hoping for when I was buying the Orphek light. I was hoping for more of a reef white colour with blue LEDs mixed in. I mean, really, this Fluval light is probably a little bit too white for most people who want reef tanks with bright fluorescent corals. You'd probably turn the white down and run it a bit more bluer. But just for comparison, we've got them both on full colour so you can see. Now on the end, you can see there's a little bit of darkness, and that's just because the light doesn't quite reach to either end of the tank. I'll also tilt this one, and you can see as well whether or not the light dispersal is bad. Now, same amount, 45 degrees, and there's a little bit of light loss, but I would say that it's not as sharp as the Orphek light, so that suggests that these LEDs are better lensed. There are more LEDs in the Fluval light, and they're a bit more subtle in their coloration. That's why you get this smooth coloration throughout the whole of the tank. You don't get these big bars of different colours. And also with the Fluval light, you get Bluetooth. You've got an app that you can set the time that it comes on, it comes off. You can set the individual wavelengths. You get a lot more functionality for your £200. So let me know what you think about that, because obviously they're very similar price ranges. they should be doing a very similar job. But I would say that for my tank and for most people's tanks, where they've just got a mixture of everything, don't you prefer this to this look? I mean, this looks so dim and dull in comparison. I mean, if anyone from Orphek's actually watching this, please leave a comment below, because I may have just got my wires crossed. This might not be what this light's been designed for. It might be designed for being suspended 10 foot in the air with other lights, and this is just a supporting act for bringing out dark areas in other tanks. I don't know. Let me know. But I'm not massively pleased with what this light's offering me. I'm going to struggle to use it, to be honest, because I'm not sure where I'm going to be putting this light in my fish room. So in summary, I think that the Reef Blue Plus is a really good light, but the Reef Daylight, not massively impressed by it. But let me know in the comments what you think. If I've got it massively wrong, then feel free to berate me in the comments. If you agree with me or you have other experiences with these particular lights, then let me know. So thank you for watching. I hope this video has been at least entertaining. If you have liked it, please remember to subscribe to my channel. Also like the video. And remember as well, I have got a Patreon feed now, so head on over to that. The link will be in the description. I do other stuff on there. I do more bloggy kind of things. You can see behind the scenes in my shed. I have one patron now. Woohoo! So shout out to you, because you are my first and only patron so far. If you want to join them and see this exclusive content, then head on over. Once again, thanks for watching and happy fish keeping!